Namaste to all of you. Let's start the class with prayers. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parbrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Bhurбhava Swaha, Tatsavitra Varenayam, Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat, Asto Ma Satgamya, Tamso Ma Jyotirgamya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamya. Om Sena Vavatu, Sena Bhunaktu, Saviryam Karvavahi, Tejasvi Navadhitamastu, Ma Vidvishavahi. Om Shanti 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 Om. So today is Wednesday. So Wednesday we normally have different topics every week. And today's topic is very dear to all of us. Ever since we were little, we wanted to be more and more likable. We wanted our parents to like us, our teachers to like us, our siblings to like us, our friends to like us. So today's topic is how to be more likable. So it was not only in the childhood, even now it's in the back of our mind. And all our actions, our words, they have that kind of a background. We speak so that we can be more likable. The clothes we wear, the place we live, the professions we chose, the person we married, all those things so that we can be more likable. But we all know that some people are born with a likable nature. Everybody is attracted to them. And there are other people who are never liked. And there are some who are neither liked nor disliked. They're just ignored. Why? Is God impartial or partial? We know that God is impartial. God is not responsible for the uneven distribution of attractive qualities. Even though we like to blame God, because very easy to blame someone who's not there, someone we cannot see. So we say it's God's fault. I was standing in the back of the line where the attractiveness was offered. So differences in each person's character are our own cultivation. We ourselves have created those pleasant or unpleasant qualities. Some in this life, some in the past lives. Otherwise, it would be a great injustice if God were responsible for starting off some children with the advantage of likable qualities and the others with a handicap of obnoxious bad qualities. But it's not he who has established bad tendencies in some children and good in others. Therefore, we cannot hold God responsible or accountable. We got to remember that. God has created all men, and when I say men, that means women also, human beings, equal, made in his image. In order to see the justification of seeming inequalities, we must understand the law of reincarnation. There wouldn't be any meaning to life if we did not afford us sufficient opportunities to develop our potentialities and satisfy our desires. Without reincarnation, how does the divine justice operate for those souls who have no chance to express themselves because they are encased in the body of a baby that is born dead, or of one that perhaps lives only the age of 6 or 7? These souls could hardly be condemned to hope because they have done nothing to deserve punishment. Because in that body, they did not do anything. Nor could they go to heaven having had no opportunity to earn it. So the answer is that this earth is where we come again and again to learn. To learn. And the law of reincarnation is the justice that brings each person here again and again until we learn all of life's lessons. So in each lifetime, we learn something predominantly. And that's what Lord Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita. Prayatanad yat manastu yogi samshuddhi kalibshaha. Kalibsha means a flaw. Anek janam samsiddhim tataha yati param gatim. This is in chapter 6, verse number 45. He said, by diligently following his path, the yogi perfected by the efforts of many births. So that means we keep on taking birth after birth to learn new lessons, to perfect ourselves. He says is purged by sin and finally enters the supreme abode or supreme beatitude. So every time we have to see, are we moving up or not? Are we getting rid of some of the flaws, which are called sins also, flaws also? Kalibsha. Kalibsha means kalak, any kind of a blackness on our personality. Are we washing it away or not? He said, with many births, you keep on doing it and you come to my abode. These are words of Lord Krishna. So man himself has cultivated his bright and dark qualities. We got to remember that. Somewhere, sometime in this or other lives, the seeds were planted by his own actions. And if we permit the seeds of harmful acts to grow, they will crowd out the seeds of the good that we have sown. So there's a good also, there's a bad also. If it's a predominantly bad, then good is not seen. So even if a person who is not likable, there are some likable qualities, but we don't see those. It's almost like a land out there, too many weeds. If you grow something there, you won't see what you have grown. Too many weeds. The same thing happens with our own actions, our own karam, our own thoughts. And the wise person is who casts out the seeds of evil from the garden of life. This is a garden of life. We keep on planting the good seeds. We should learn to analyze ourselves. And we need to determine why some people are liked by all and others are not. Because the question is today, how can we be more likable? So we need to analyze it. Even among children, we find some whom everyone regards affectionately and others whom everyone avoids. So one of the first conclusions from such analysis is that if a person is to become likable, he or she must make himself or herself more attractive from within. From within. Because we know that sometimes even the most physically attractive person may be repellent because of the inner ugliness reflected in that person's speech or actions. Initially, maybe we get attracted to that attractiveness of the face, but ultimately it is the inner beauty. Don't we often say that that person is beautiful inside out? So what is that inside? Inside is the behavior, the thought pattern, the way that person thinks, the way the person actions are towards us. So at one time, the secret of popularity was, at least when we were growing up, our age group people, it was called it. That was a secret, it. If you fall in that it, you are popular. So that's kind of a physical appeal or magnetism. That was called it. But having it does not necessarily make a person likable. So our good or bad traits determine whether and by whom we are liked or disliked. Evil attracts evil, good attracts good. So it is not what we want. We want the kind of a magnetism that will draw good to us, that will bring sincere friends. And we want admiration which is merited. That means which is based upon the merit. Because external, whether they are clothes or a pretty or handsome body and face, sure, that can give us attractiveness, but ultimately we got to create it within. Okay, so the beauty has to be created within. Never do anything that will taint your mind. That means put a blemish or a black spot in the mind. Because wrong actions cause negative or evil mental vibrations. Wrong actions. And wrong actions are called vikaram. That's why those are prohibited actions by our scriptures. Every guru says that. In fact, every faith says that. The wrong actions are wrong. They create evil vibrations. And then it's reflected in your whole appearance and personality. So engage in those actions and thoughts that nurture the good qualities you want to have, if you want to be likable. In our eyes, there's an entire history of our life, actually. Eyes say a lot. It cannot be concealed from those who know how to read it. Okay, more instinctive you are, more intuitive you are, I should say, you can read the eyes of a person. There are spiritual eyes. There are half spiritual eyes. There are dishonest eyes, and there are sensual eyes. We all can read that. We can see what is written in a person's eyes. People are judged by the clothes also. But largely, people are judged by the conduct. So that's why it's okay. It's very important to stay clean and trim in appearance. We should not be filthy. Clothe yourself simply and neatly, and as befits your personality. But first of all, learn good behavior. Once you have developed your mind and cultivated appealing inner qualities, inner virtues, what we wear becomes less important. The people you admire, people you look up to, do you really care what they are wearing? As long as they are neat and clean, and they normally are. We don't care whether they are following the new fashion or not. We are just attractive to them. We just like them. Mahatma Gandhi proved that clothes do not matter. He said, clothes do not make the man. He wore only the loincloth. And that's how he is identified. Very simple. All over the world. So the point is that one should not think all the time about the body, nor should not be careless of it. Sure, this is the temple we have. We reside in it in this lifetime. Take care of it. To give the body too little or too much attention makes one become unbalanced and fanatical. Remember that. Constantly thinking about the body or ignoring the body completely. We don't want to do that. Stay balanced. Look after the body in a reasonable way. Remember always what is most important. Your mentality, your behavior, if you want to be likable. Give more attention to the mind, the springboard of your behavior, for that is what most persons respond to. Another thing you got to remember, be interested in others. When you are by yourself, you have a right to think and do what you want to. But when you are with others, you should not be absent-minded or uninterested. These days, there is a new problem, which is a phone. Sometimes we are with others, but we are with somebody who is far away on the phone. I was so impressed yesterday. One young girl came to me to see me. Even before she entered the door, she put her phone on do not disturb mode. Do we do that? Young girl, do not disturb. So that's the only way we can just be 100% with somebody. Otherwise, we are not. Otherwise, our half of our energy is over there, half somewhere else, and little bit towards the person we are talking to. Company of a corpse would be preferable to that of an absent-minded person. Because if a corpse is indifferent to us, that is not an insult. But if a person next to you is not interested in what you are saying or talking, that's an insult. So if you want to be likable, be sincere. That is another quality. Sincerity is a soul quality that God has given to everyone, every human being. But most of us don't express it. Sincerity. Above all, be humble. That is another quality to be likable. You may have admirable inner strength, but do not overwhelm others with your strong nature. Be humble. Higher we go, the more virtues we have, humbler we must become if you want to be likable. Another point is be calm and considerate of others. This is the way to develop a likable magnetism, calmness, and consideration. Always strive to be understanding. Some people choose to be quarrelsome. They'll argue. They always want to have the last word. They will try to misunderstand anybody, no matter what that person is saying or doing. Those people are not likable. Because these people, they go about with a chip on their shoulders, as they say. To draw real friends, one must cultivate understanding. Try to see from others' point of view also. There are always more than one way you can look at anything. There is a magnet in our heart that will attract two friends. That magnet is unselfishness. Unselfishness. That means thinking of others first. That is unselfishness. Very few people are free from self-centeredness. Even when we were little, or even when we see the babies, self-centeredness. But if you want to grow, if you want to reach to that height of perfection, unselfishness. That is the quality needs of others first. Thinking of others. Even in two people, they are married, always think, how can I bring a smile on the other person's face? Instead of thinking, what can other do for me? Always think, what can I do for the other person? How can I make it easy? Because there are burdens in the life. How can I make life easy for the person I live with? That is it. So it's not a big thing. The person we marry, obviously we love that person. How can we make their life easy? That's how it starts. Unselfishness. Lord Krishna put this in one of the qualities of a Karam Yogi. Unselfishness. Consideration for others is a most wonderful quality. It is the greatest attractiveness we can have. But we need to practice it. We cannot just be wishful about it. We cannot just say that God give me that. We need to practice it. Consideration means awareness of and attentiveness to others. A considerate person, when in the company of others, will have an intuitive awareness of their needs. You will know if a person is thirsty, person is hungry, person wants something. You just do it. That's all. It doesn't take that much effort. Practice consideration in your speech also. Not only in actions, in speech as well. And when you feel tempted to speak harshly, control that impulse. The tongue of ours should be in our control. And talk calmly instead. So instead of harshly, talk calmly. Let no one hear harsh words from you. Be not afraid to speak the truth when you're asked to do so, but do not force your thoughts on others. By the kindness and consideration of your speech, you help to uplift others. And then you make them better too. So you are, wherever you are helping others also to become better. Because you remember that it's not always your words that others listen to, but the strength and the sincerity behind them. When a sincere person speaks, They say the world moves. And those words are often repeated. And they don't even say it in a loud voice, because there was a sincerity behind those words. So sincere person, when he says something, others listen. In fact, we are always waiting for that person to say something. Another quality we got to remember, the love. It is a joy to love others, to live for others. Without loving others, we really cannot live for others. As soon as you are concerned for someone else, not only that person will think of you, Scripture say even God is thinking about you. It's almost like we are mothers, fathers over here. If we have more than one child, or even a child's friend is trying to help our child, we have a good feeling towards that friend or the sibling. It's just automatic. And we are all God's children. So that's why I said that God thinks of you also when you are considerate. If you are thoughtful, living for others, doing something for others all the time, or even sometimes, that even if you part with your last penny to help them, God will return even more blessings to you. Another thing to remember, each one of us have some special quality. Everybody. God has given us some special trait, some special quality, which is called a uniqueness in us. If you are unselfish, good-tempered, understanding, you are richer than those who are selfish and angry and jealous. This is the richness. Try to understand that uniqueness in you. Use that uniqueness for unselfish reasons, to help others. This mankind is a large garden, as I said. Some people are behaving this way, some people behaving the different way. Most of the people do not have much control over them. It's almost like a zoo, if you want to call it. Before a person can realize the true goal of life, we have to cultivate the self-control. Self-control. We must seek the balance in life. Otherwise, we are just keep on moving, keep on shaking, keep on going up, forward, backward, right, left, but we are not moving. There's no growth. So we have to find the balance first to really move towards the ultimate goal. And remember, the perfect balance is the altar of God. Everything else is changing. That is the nature of this Prakriti. Only the altar of God, that is the substratum. Strive for this. And once you have attained it, never lose it. Hold on to it. The great personalities, they did not lose it. We have many, many examples like that. Jesus Christ, he was put on that cross. He was nailed to the cross. He said, Father, forgive them. He remembered God at that time. He said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. The ordinary person cannot bear these tests. When you meet a wonderful person, don't you wish that you were like him? But then we got to dig deeper. We got to think about all the noble qualities that person has. How that heart of that great person is so loving, so sincere, so compassionate. We can all have it. We can get encouraged by these people, these wonderful people. Got to just pay attention to the qualities, got to see the humility, and remember that we can be humble, we can be strong, we can be brave like that brave person we see. Or we can have that conquering will. If we see in somebody, we admire that. Or that divine will, that love and surrender. These are the qualities. But above all, develop the will to seek God. No matter what the obstacles, then you will be victorious in life. This is all created by God. This is owned by God. This is sustained by God. So develop the will to seek God. Emulate the consciousness of the great ones. Realize God's omnipresence. Even imagine in the beginning that God is with me. God is walking with me. God is always with me. He knows all things. He can hear without the ears. He can see without the eyes. He is with all of us all the time. Even though we don't see him, he's right here. He is that greatest light. He is the one who's transforming us. And we are all here within that light, within his light. Or we can imagine that we are like the waves in the ocean of that light, the light of God. When you see his light, his presence, then you know that this life is nothing more than a flicker. We all must have to leave here and reach God. We got to remember that. Every trial is a blessing if it brings us nearer to God. This is what you should remember. And whatever you do on earth, do it for God. For God, not for yourself. If you strive to serve God, you have served everyone. Seek to please him, not just yourself. What you expect others to be, you be first. We all know that we want others to be truthful to us. We want others to be nice to us. We want others to be considerate also. So what you expect others to be, you be first. If you practice these suggestions, even if we take one quality at a time and work hard in developing those qualities, from today, we'll start seeing the change. But sincerely, we have to practice it. For example, if we practice peace or cheerfulness, we say, okay, all right, I will be cheerful. I'll have a smile on my face even when I'm unhappy. You will see that that outer smile will make your heart smile also. We have to just remember that. Then we have to keep on cultivating other qualities, courage, fearlessness, and develop that kind of a understanding that God is with me. You can just write them down, what kind of a qualities you need. And all these qualities are given in Bhagavad Gita by Lord Krishna. There are 32 qualities of a devotee. Write them down and see which one you work on. Even if you work on one quality a year, it makes a big difference. One quality brings the other qualities with it. It's almost like if there's one enemy, the other enemies will come too. And we are all familiar with those enemies. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar, Matsarya. They all come together. Worldly desires. Angry person is greedy also. Angry person is jealous also. One enemy, the other enemies come. One quality, other qualities come to. So work on one quality at a time. But to practice it sincerely. Practice unselfishness. Don't think that this life is a business. This life is here to improve ourselves and move towards God. It's not a business. There's no competition over here. We are all part of the same God, same Father, same Mother. There's a room for all of us to be there at the same time. It's not just only one person can attain moksha. We all can. So no competition. Never compromise your ideals. No matter what comes, do not let it bother or deter you. Practice consideration, goodness, until you become like a flower. That flower which everybody loves to see. Everybody loves to be in company. That's likable personality. So be the beauty that is in a flower and the attractiveness that is in a pure mind. Remember that. When you're attractive in that way, you will always have true friends. You will be loved by both people as well as God. So this is what I wanted to share, some very simple message. I'm sure you all knew all of it, but we got to practice it. Practice it. This is no different than what we have been talking about otherwise in our classes, but Wednesday we try to keep a little simpler message, something practical, something doable. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnam Idam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vishishyate. Om Shanti 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 Om. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hershey. I'm going to leave early.
Sure,
Sai Ram.
sure, no problem. No problem.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, Nana, you have a question?